All right, my friends, here we go. This is the Dojo Training Program, and this is the Graduate Show. We do this every week. We do one time for the under 1,000 and then one time for the over 1,000. I think I counted 10 that we're going to do today. Tomorrow we'll do the rest. How many do we got tomorrow? Oh my gosh, we got 24, so there'll be 14 tomorrow. Okay. I think we'll start at the top and work our way down. And actually, that gives me a little bit of a problemito because Max, he looks like he graduated twice, dude. No, he just graduated once, boss. He's graduated. I'm going to count that as the under 1,000 because he got out of there. You know, he got out of there. By the way, Max is kind of famous in the dojo because he is, what did he call him? I think he called himself a fish counter or something like that. Anyways, getting his master's at the University of Oregon Fisheries Department and took a massive stats class, then got inspired to do some dojo stats. So he did a breakdown of the stats, and some of it was kind of hard for Boomer GM to understand, but the big takeaway was the most strongly correlated thing we do for a grading gain was logical chess move by move, in particular for the 1,000 to 1,100 cohort. Hi, Abdul. Okay, so here's Max. Boom. He's got a fancy new profile. I guess it's not new, but it's just fancy. Now look at this dude. He has graduated numerous times. So, cool. And just made it over the top. So, first we're going to look at the tactics rating. And I have the I can share that we are going to have very soon tactics tests available for Max and everybody below, 1,500, right? So that'll be dojo wide at the end of this month. What he's also already done though is the Polgar mate tests, and that is he's shining there. I'm gonna guess he maybe didn't pursue the puzzle survival thing too much. So anyways, we have a tactics rating of 1108, so that bodes well for Max, that he will continue progressing. Is there an organs club? Yeah, there is, the Fortlet Dojo. Now maybe he's got that Denver connection. I got the Denver connection. Okay. So cool that we have these clubs all over the place. Next up, let's look at that rating graph, dude. It's pretty stunning, man. And activity, we're going to go back one to see how he did it. And good macro distribution. Let's click on the tactics real quick. We got the Polgar mates test, mates in one. You know, he's got all this done. It's a little bit weird that it's showing me mates in one. You know, I don't know why that's going on. In any case, that's all looking good. Let's see if Max has got a game for us here. Dello Griffith played fairly recently, and this is FA play mode. Looks like he is playing just online, which is fine. Though we could encourage him to go and play. Oh, what's going on there? He might have just uploaded that. Okay. So I'm going to mark this as reviewed. I think he might have just uploaded that last game and hadn't begun working on it yet. Beautiful time graph. You can see black maybe didn't use quite as much time as they should have. The time control is game 30. So once you go up above 1,000, start also not only over the board, but time to start thinking about moving, getting us some longer time controls. Now, he's talking to me about the London. Not time to be talking about the London. So one of the things that I get yelled at a lot is like, Kraai, why can't I study the openings? And of course you can, but the point is, it's not going to help you until you get to 1200, and you're going to be missing this opportunity to just look at the board and ask yourself, what are the best moves? And if you don't do it and instead following some mumbo jumbo, you're never going to get it. So for example, somebody who's got it, whether they're a GM or even a 1200, can tell you right here what the best moves are, right? Here we go. Knight f3, e4, d4, knight c3, c4, b3, g3. There you go. Those are all fine moves. You know, if you want to say one's better than the other, fine, fine. But those are all the fine moves. They all make sense, right? And as long as you do that on every move, you don't need the openings, and you will learn. You will learn. And there will come a time. There will come a time when it will be appropriate for you to do so. The dojo tells you when. Okay, so I'm not going to read this London stuff. Okay, so weird, of course. Okay, now for those of you that want fancy names of openings, this is called the Ponziani. Okay, why is it technically odd? Because you're blocking your knight and you're not actually developing any pieces, right? So this is an example of someone getting a little fancy, and does it help them? I don't know. Okay, so fine, fine, poor. Okay, poor move. So, is it horrible? Maybe it's not horrendous, but what's going to happen here is you lose the flexibility in the center, and the knight gets to hop over to g6. So here we go. Good move. Poor move. Is it terrible? We're going to let it go, Kraai. We're going to let it go. Bishop a4. Poor. I was proud of this if only because I saw it and didn't take immediately. Much more controlled than I have been in the past. So let's talk about, first of all, why in general am I opposed to bishop b5? Because after bishop d7, you will give black a tempo. You gave him a tempo with bishop a4. You give him a tempo when you take on d7. Why did I retract it? Because you could make the argument that this is your bad bishop and this is their good bishop. But that's a little highfalutin for where we are, right, in our chess development. Whereas now we just want to focus on time. So if we are just thinking about openings, what would be our standard moves here? Bishop e2 comes to mind, so we can castle, right? Some kind of knight developing move. And if you were going to lose a tempo, then I would say you should lose one here so you can get the knight on this nice square, right? Also here, makes a little bit more sense to play bishop d3. It's not clear our queen belongs there, right? Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Queen c2. Loss of tempo. Loss of tempo. I guess we should take. Okay. A little funky. Now, obviously he should castle. One of the reasons not to study openings at this level is these people are just gonna keep giving you time, right? They're just gonna keep giving you time. Now, h6, if black were a GM, might have some interesting ideas. We'll see if black has those GM ideas. I'm gonna guess not. Let's keep going. Fine. Now, playing for a trick, right? Playing for a trick. Playing for this b5 thing. At this level, by the way, what you will find is that it's very hard for players to just improve their position. So, for example, castling. And instead, they will make one-move threats, right? It's like they feel that need to do something. By the way, if we were at a GM level, we might get something like this. It looks weird, but what is the point? To trade off our bad bishop. Now, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they saw that when they played h6 moves, but I'm just telling you, that's why h6 might not be so dumb. Okay, a5. Good move. We stop in b5, and we get that nice knight to the c3 square. Okay, good. Okay, what is it? A one-move threat. Yeah. Now you get something interesting where you play b3. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's fine. So you keep the tension. And the easy way to play, of course, would be to take on d7. Okay, frisky. Notice that black isn't solving the fundamental problems of the position, which is to untangle himself here. That's why this knight h7 move, in addition to trading off the bad piece, but introducing the idea of f5, is kind of good. Now, c6, well, you know, I don't think this is a good move, but at least he's making you worry about b5 stuff. Bishop b2, I'm not a huge fan. Think about it. You're just getting whacked over here. You're hitting a rock. Okay. So you talk about weird things like bishop g5. I don't understand that. Or bishop h6. So let's say we want, it's a little bit difficult, by the way, to know what exactly for you to do here. But moving the bishop out along this diagonal somewhere makes a little bit more sense. All right. He's just messing around. Nobody knows. Okay, d1. Bishop g4. So by the way, on b5, white is intending to take. I'm going to put those words in his mouth. Bishop g4. Not great if that bishop gets traded off. Rook e3. Personally, okay, fine. Rook e3. Knight f4. Okay. Right. Now he finds it. And now we're in a little bit of grief. We are in a little bit of grief. One thing to talk about here is I think he found it a little bit through frustration. He didn't know what to do. We need to pronto get play on the queen side, get things going. And before we get mated, right? So you played knight h2. I don't get it. I think a good play would be pop, pop, and pop. And here the idea is to loosen this square so that we get some play, but also that we activate our bishop over here. In principle, a good move, but if you can play h4, then we want to play h4. So maybe more interesting would be bishop g5, you know. Okay, knight g5, h4. Well, why are you giving him? Why are you giving him your coconut? Why are you giving the coconut, buddy? What's going on? I thought you were gonna play g3. Yeah, and we have ourselves a very tense situation here after g3. But I don't see anything concrete for black. Whereas after f3, you just gave him a big old coconut. And oh my God, he got the dark squares too. And now black's winning. Not sure. Okay. Notice your bishop is like, oh, I got to get back. Now, again, you want to create drama. And since your bishop's here and he doesn't see it either, you want to somehow loosen this. So again, probably something like this. Trying to just get a little play against this coconut over here. You are in deep trouble, though, because bishop g3 is coming, all this stuff. This bishop g3 looks a little premature. It's probably fine. Knight g5 looks good, too. Okay, good move. Good move. Bishop f4. Maybe. The most testing move has to be knight g5. That just looks like we're gonna get it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it looks like we're gonna get it. That's what it looks like to me. Like we're gonna get it. All right, bishop f4, pop. Good. And we might get some counterplay. Good. And notice now, at least the bishop is talking to the pawn on e5. He's just moving around, making little threats. Notice, he doesn't feel the pain of the knight. The knight needs to come in. This is what dude needs to understand. All of the pieces need to come in. So I don't know what the eval is after knight g5, but I can tell you that's what he needs. That's the one he needs to make you wonder about knight f3 and bishop f3 and all that good stuff. So here he's just making one move threat. Uh-oh. But let me just say, don't let him take on f3. He's got one threat here. Don't let him take it. And now he should play knight f6, right? Knight f6 looks good. He needs to, this whole time, notice he's not fixing the knight. Blundericious. Boom. Yeah, at the end of the day, solved by a free piece. So exciting game, and a couple things to think about when you try to imagine getting to 1100 max. One, forget the open, forget words, the this and the that, dude, the London and the Schmunden. You will get your time. Just trust me. Don't worry about it yet. Think about basic chess principles for now. Very important. You will reap the benefits later, okay? Next up, I like that you used your time. You maybe could have used a little bit more. This guy, as lots of times in these online games, they're incapable of actually thinking. And what happens when you don't think? You lose coconuts, right? So here, look, bishop e3, he played that almost instantaneously, and then, oh, game over. That's how fast it can go. And usually that's how things, at this level are decided. Somebody hangs something. Now, pay attention to how both sides had trouble activating their pieces. Like they weren't thinking about it. Your opponent making one move threats. We see that a lot in online games. And then not fixing his junk. This also was interesting here and just in the opening. That bishop b5 and bishop a4, very fancy, but you're losing time. c3, technically maybe not a bad move, but for where you are, a terrible move. Don't get stuck in some weird opening stuff, because then you're not going to be developing properly. Okay, great. So let's go back. Next up, we have Pepper Chess. Oh, dude. Pepper Chess brought it over here. Oh, by the way, I have to read what Max said. I'm not sure where this came from because all I did was redo Learn Chess the Right Way Part 3 and spend an unhealthy amount of time pursuing my Puzzle Rush survival number, still only at 35. Still have all of Morphe and all the Programmate twos to do before I start on the next cohort training material. Moving back to Colorado in June will coincide nicely with the transition to USCF for my preferred rating, so this is a nice capstone. Yeah, well said. They have a cool, I don't know where in Colorado you're going to be, but they have a pretty cool scene in Denver. In the Denver Chess Club, which I saw that you remember. Those are some cool people. Got to hang out with them once at the Denver Open years ago. Okay, so next up we have Pepper Chess, friend of the dojo, also somebody just flying up the cohort list here. All right. The big fish, yeah. And the Dune he says he's going to Denver. Okay, Jesse, sorry for the speech. I finally made it to graduation. Dude, when you've been working at it for a long time, you get to have a speech. If you just did a week or two and made it, you don't get to do a speech. But Pepper, you get to do a speech. And when we look at Pepper's graph, by the way, we're going to see that he's going up really quickly. But let me just laugh at him a little bit. Because at a certain point on this journey, he was like, oh, bows, I'm at a plateau, I'm stuck. And it was just like for 2 weeks or something. Sometimes, bows, especially now that you're getting up there, it's going to take a little longer. There will be setbacks. Okay, here we go. Sorry for the long speech. I finally made it to graduation. This has been my toughest cohort to get out of by far. With work being crazy busy, life having some bumps in the way, all caused a loss of a lot of rating points. At the end of 23, I was 11-10-ish, knocking on the door of graduation and going in the right direction. I had graduated 3 or 4 times and generally going up in my rating more than down. However, then it all seemed to go wrong the next few months, and I went down to just about 930. This is all ChessCom ratings. I demoted myself twice from 800, 900 as I was no longer in that rating range. I demoted down to 700, 800 due to the loss of rating. And then when I lost more, I demoted myself for a second time to 6 to 7. Wow, okay, this was a hard road. In this time, I also had a terrible run of OTB and lost around 40 ELO from my English chess score. But I've stayed with it, trusted the program, sought advice from the wise sages of Discord. Special shout out to Kavutskiy, who has helped me more than he will know with advice, help, assistance, and feedback. He is a true gentleman of this program. I really enjoyed Tactics Times 1 and 2. I know they are no longer in the program, but they were excellent. I grinded my way back to 1100, but it felt like a real hard grind. Every game was a fight to get 1150. I would get close, lose a few, get close, then lose a few, etc. But I have made it. Honestly, this as much to a lot of people is a very small achievement. Reaching the dizzy heights of 1150, to me, a big milestone. When I was just beginning on ChessCom, my rapid went down to 512. Looking at my graphs, so I have earned over 600 points. I just had no structure and was stuck at 750 before I found the dojo. So, since joining the dojo, I've gone from 750 ChessCom to 1150, 400 points. Also, my last game, I managed to beat a 1560 ECF. Wow, pretty great. Jesse, could you please review that game? It's dated 12th of May. Okay, I will do that. DH. Let's take a look at what's going on with Pepper Chess. Great. First, I always go to the ratings. And he kind of suffered. Polgar mate test. And then we got these ones. I'm going to guess he hit it. He hit like a benchmark and stopped, which is fine. And now he's in this 900 to 1,000. Good. And here's the ECF, which... Let's see this. I guess the ECF is... Okay, I'm not an expert with the ECF, but that's not his preferred rating. He's over here and is normalized to 900. So, okay, look at that. Now, you can tell just by the bumps, the dude is playing quite a lot, right? And I think it was around here he was talking about his slump. We've all been there, you know. It's kind of like until you've suffered a slump, I don't even consider you a chess player. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It'd be like somebody try to talk to you about finance who's never lost money, you know? Somebody trying to talk to you about money who's never worked a real job in their life, you know? Or win a minimum wage or something. So this gives me, you know, a sense of grit here. All right, here we go. Clubs. Oh, we got it going on. I think this is a new one, this ECF, so that's cool. They also have the UK dojo. All right, now we got activity. I mean, look at this. I mean, dude is truly bringing it. And I don't know if it's fair quite to look at this one. But yeah, here we go. What is a non-dojo? He's going crazy over here. Yeah, we did get rid of Tactics Time. Honestly, it was a fine book, but there was a couple, like, maybe answers that weren't correct or something, and people kind of lost their mind. If people really like it, we'll bring it back. We have dropped books and then brought them back in the past. It's tough to get on that reading list, but it's really hard. Okay, so Pepper Chess is in the chat. It's really cool. Let's look at his game. I believe it's his DH game. Yes. So, boom. ECF league match, 130 with no increment. right? Let's look at the time. So it looks like both players played the first several moves very quickly, and then there was some deep thinking, and then it ended. So that looks like a good time graph. We'll get more into it, but that looks good. We got Kevin making some nice comments. All right, let's leave it there for now. And he is playing somebody pretty high rated here. Okay. And you know, what I'm happy with here is Pepper is just playing moves as far as I can tell, you know, which is fine. We were talking earlier about theory is schmeary and all this stuff. Fine, doing fine. Now, Bishop c4. Bishop b5, by the way, might be more testing. And you played knight f6. And I just want to say, this one scares me. Okay, I don't know what the eval is here. I would just be a little scared of knight g5. It might not work, okay, for white. But I'm just telling you, I'd be scared. Okay, fine. You're developing. Poor move, right? Moving a developed piece twice. And so, what you're seeing is this is a strong player, and they probably read some book on the King's Indian, the poor bastard, right? And now is in some position where they don't know what to do. All right, let's flip the board. I just want Max to hear me. He's probably already done listening. I want Max and others to hear me. Let's say you knew nothing. What would be your candidate moves? It would be d3 and castles. You could consider h3 too. But that's it. We're not playing bishop b5 mouse. Okay, we're going to flip it back. Good move. Okay, and now we blunder with bishop h5. And you have a choice between bishop d7 and taking on f3. Bishop f3, I feel like, is the safe way to go. All right, bishop h5. And yeah, this is where the game is really kind of, these games are usually decided. Now, let me point something out that applies to everyone. I'm thinking about doing a video on it. So, what I have seen, I'm going to call this anxiety-driven, this mistake, from both sides. Because a lot of times people are playing, and it's a longer game, and they're nervous before the game, and they get there, and they bust out a series of moves, and it's kind of out of a machismo, honestly. So obviously h3, we have no idea what to do. I wouldn't know either. I would think about bishop f3, maybe bishop d7, something. I would also reflect on like, oh, this dude, he's giving me a lot of time. Time in terms of tempo. So it's that anxiety which is driving these people nuts, okay? And both players, because you can see it on the time graph here, on move 7, I guess we're going to say black actually did think for a touch here with this move. Okay, so Pepper actually thought on this move 7. I think if I'm reading this right. Let's just actually look. So bishop h5. No, he did not. That's weird, actually. Yeah, so it wasn't right. Both sides blitzing. Now, every time we do this show, I yell at people for moving too fast, right? And I want to stress that it's not just enough, I think, this is what I'm learning, to say, oh, I need to move slower. I think you have to recognize, this is what my new theory anyway, you got to recognize that why you're doing it. It's anxiety, nervousness, right? Both players are doing it. Bishop h5, white doesn't even think. d3, oh my gosh. Castle, again not thinking. Or this one he did think. So here he stops. This is where Pepper stops. He needs to play bishop f3, of course. Bishop c6. I now see the bishop is eventually trapped, so I took the knight here. Okay, so we want to put a question mark next to bishop c6. Okay, in addition to missing g4, what I want you to see about this, okay, good, is that when you capture, I want you just to see that now the knight is dead because you took away his squares. Okay, castles. And d5, I don't know, buddy. To me, it looks like you're hanging a pawn. So let's take a look at, well, maybe he's got some fancy thing. You know, maybe Pepper's got a fancy thing. It looks to me like he's hanging a pawn. What would be a natural move? Would be rook b8. Would be a natural looking move. It looks a little funky, I know, but knight d7 isn't totally dumb, so that we can get our bishop maybe here on bishop f6 working, or g5 depending. We got to start thinking about this guy. And you are when you play d5. This to me looks like you're winning a pawn here, or white's winning a pawn. So it gets very frisky. I don't understand why, like ed5, cd5, fe, you just lost another. You're gonna lose another one, right? And then knight d5, bare minimum, he's winning a pawn here. And you know, when he wins it, he opens the business. All right, so fe4, v5, pop. So I guess the intention is if knight e4, you have queen d4. All right, so here, we're getting frisky. Now you play knight h5. The knight, this is some fancy things you're doing, buddy. Some fancy things. Check to the knight. Good move. I'm gonna guess he missed that. Knight e4. Okay, very fancy. And now g6. Now, Pepper, I want to commend you. Even if I have some difficulties with some of the moves you made in that last sequence, I really like that you found this idea, holding the knight. I mean, that's just cool chess. That's just good chess. Okay, so the guy plays queen f3. It's not the most, beautiful thing ever. And then after f5, I think you're getting him. Bam! So the question, I guess, is he already toast? Because queen f3, f5, you're just crushing him. Because if he moves the knight, you got this thing. So let's see, what can we do for white here? On this move, you just take it, because however he recaptures, you'll have knight g3 at the end. If d4, maybe just queen d4, but that's even nicer. Go with knight g3 again. So it's looking like he should play bishop f4. There might be something else, but that could at least be better than queen f3. Okay, brilliant. Poor. And now he's just hanging all his coconuts. Okay, so you played fe4. It's hard to imagine that that is wrong. So fe4, rook e4. And, well, you're winning. You got it all, buddy. You got it all. Let's say that can't be bad. Oh, that's fancy. I think it's fine. Yeah. Good move. Ooh, look how fancy you are. Look at that. Look how fancy you are. Check. Oh, no. Dang, Pepper Chess. Dang. So that was a great game, dude. Okay. So Pepper's saying he didn't take the note of the time at the beginning. I thought that was a good game, man. And you know what I really like is you just made up the opening and you were fine. You were fine. What did your opponent do? Lost tempo, right? And then these are the kinds of mistakes that will kill you. And your opponent, I think, probably did move too fast. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say, even if you didn't write it down, it's like, oh, somebody's moving too fast here. Okay. So, Pepper Chess, great, dude. Great. Let's continue. And now we have, but Chess Sucks, who's also just been graduating. Boom, boom, boom. Took a bit of a break for life stuff. Dude, he graduated like last week. Got a ChessCom subscription and have been grinding Puzzle Rush. Pepper Chess, thank you for gifting the subs. Got a ChessCom subscription, have been grinding Puzzle Rush and Puzzle Survival. Need to finish some books and play more games. Missed several opportunities for Forced Mate in my last game, loving the Dojo 3.0 stuff. Can't wait to get to a cohort where I'm allowed to study openings. There you go. All right, here we go. But Chess Sucks. Bang. Anya Taylor-Joy Inspired Gamer. There we go. So there it is, 788. Tactics needs to do the Polgar mate test. Already grinding these bad boys though, so that's good. And again, we'll have tactics tests for everybody at the end of this month. Okay, clubs. Okay, activity. Beautiful. Lots of work getting done. Games. And these all look like online games. This was played just yesterday. Down goes the Philidor again to the strength of D4. So actually, I want to say there's interesting. So this is called the Philidor. It's fine. Generally, people play knight D7 here. However, amazingly, Philidor himself, I just learned this, the whole idea for him was to bust it with F5 here. Which, you know, breaks some of the principles. And then back in the day, the main line, maybe it's still the main line now, but the thing that they analyzed like deeply was this madness position. That was the thing they analyzed, dude. It is hectic. It's very hectic. It was before computers. We're talking 1800s. You know, Steinitz and these guys, they're analyzing this position. Okay, so F6, obviously poor. Okay. So, one thing I want you to see here is that this move isn't it. Okay, it's not the worst thing you've ever done. What am I saying? It implies you've done a lot worse. That's not what I meant. My coach, he's so brutal on me. He's like, when I show him some terrible game, he's like, well, we have seen much worse. So anyways, the issue with DE5 is we're going to free this bishop, and what you're doing it for is to make black lose the castling privilege, but that's not that big of a deal at this stage. Notice too that this pawn is killing your knight. So what would be better? Moves like knight c3, bishop c4. Okay, bop, 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 bop. Good move by black. Holy moly. Holy moly, good move. The point of this move is to get the king to c7. Maybe that wasn't their point, though, because they played b5. They should put the king down to c7. Always going for the tricks over here. Now, something I want to stress is this a4 move isn't technically a threat, as you could take on g8 or play bishop f7. But okay, a4. Notice, what have we got? Loads of time. C3. I'm not sure I like it. What do I want you to do? I want you to develop your stuff. Get that knight to C4 later. Weird. Loss of a pawn. You got to say thank you when that happens. A little weird. Good. Okay. Good. Now, what do we have? A huge development advantage. If anything, I'd like you to be aware that this knight is poor. Now, you play knight e1. That's kind of weird to me. What do I want you to do? Put the rook here. Make him think about rook d6 and rook d8. Good trick. Good trick. Boom. And now question. Should you have played knight c5 first? I'm going to say yes, because the rook is worth more than the knight. So when you take black blunders here, it needs to play a move somewhere, something like that. He misses it, bang. And now your whole knight e1, d3 is looking good. And, even though if I thought knight e1 was weird, what I want to say about it that I like is that the knight on f3 was bad and you fixed it. And that's the sign of, when I usually coach 1,800, 2,000 players, I'm like, boss, are you fixing it? Are you fixing it? And they're like, oh, I forgot. And you fixed it. So that's good. And now you're winning. I prefer knight d5. Okay. Good move. Oh, good move. Fine. So, boom. That's kind of clever what you did. Good move. Run, Forrest, run. Good move. Run, Forrest, run. Good move. Nice. Well done. All right, so that's But Chess Sucks. Uh-oh, I got to log an expired thing. And But Chess Sucks is moving up. And oh my gosh, what do we see here? Hold on, let's look. This is a 98, so this is a 30 plus 20. And look at what happens when we play these people online. They're not thinking at all. It's moving instantly, dude. Instantly. Oh, man, look at that, dude. We see it every graduate show. The lower rated we go, the more we see this. This person was moving so fast, they gained 7 minutes on the clock. I hope you told them at the end, maybe just a little comment, welcome to the dojo. You're going to move like that, buddy. You could be the best player in the world, man. Who are you here, buddy? Just play your 3-0 game. Yeah, Quadxy. Pepper was already on. We started at the top and are working our way down today. Okay, here we go. Let's go next. We have Shatranj, which I think might be one of the Indian spellings for chess. Someone might correct me. Here we go. The program provided a very structured approach to improving chess, especially at the lower levels. Two things really helped me: focus on tactics and post-game analysis without an engine. There you go. Both improved my chess and was able to consistently notice blunders and take advantage to win the games. Mistakes from my side still happen, but have reduced drastically, and I have won from seemingly totally lost positions due to one bad move by the opponent. The regular dose of tactics study and the game analysis are the secret sauce to improvement. Great. So, speaking my language over here, we're going to follow Shatranj, and let's go tactics rating. Okay. They need to do another Polgar test, I think. Oh, so this is a free tier account. I didn't even know we could do graduations on the free tier. So, in any case, maybe I have to ask Jack on that. Let's just write it down. In any case, congratulations. Let's take a look. Probably, I don't know, you can submit games and stuff. You can do the Polgar test, all this stuff. Wow, okay. I don't know. Usually, you got to be in. No clubs, there are loads of games. Maybe they recently switched to the free account. I don't know. I don't know. But they got a bunch of games. Let's check it out. All right, let's take a look. I'll mark this as reviewed. Here we go. Welcome to the dojo. His opponent, as we see, there's no reason for them to hit that 30-0. They can't think, dude. Impossible. So, we got ourselves another Philidor. This was Morphe versus the Evil Duke. Played DE5. This is fine. Fine. Weird, right? Not developing. Good move. Weird. Not developing. Good move. Knight f6. And now you play e5. Maybe. All right. I think it's going to be okay. He's lost so much time that I think we're ready to open things up. Pop, pop, pop. Good move. Now, this is a key position for black. If I were black here, I'd be thinking a little bit. I would have thought about queen e7 too. Dude plays knight c6. And I think you have a good move here with queen g3. That looks good to me. No castles for you, buddy. Yeah. And now knight g7, exclam. Good. Very nice notation. By the way, one thing I like about your notation here is, you know, on the intuitive moves, you were pretty light. Just saying, developing my knight. Not sure what he's doing with h6. And now you kind of go deeper. And exactly, now we've reached the tactical phase of the game, and we want to knock him out. Okay, king f8. I would be a little concerned about knight h5. Exactly. You are doing great now forever, though, because dude is no longer going to castle short. That ain't it. Good move. Uh-oh. Blundered the knight. Okay, let's just look. Yeah, that was pretty quick, right? So you're totally winning here. The easy move is knight takes e7. You got other ones too. I would have put bishop d6. Now, one of the things I want to say, all right, is imagine you're going to play a game like this again. You're going to blunder something. What I want you to see, though, is because your opponent doesn't understand that development is part of the game, you have great chances here to mess with him because they have to really fix their king and the rook on g8, right? And that's what happens to you when you don't develop your pieces. What is he doing? He said, take the pawn, buddy. He needs to be playing moves like g6 and king g7. Get out of dodge, buddy. Not sure I get that move, rook d3. Okay. Ooh, that wasn't it. Bam! And look at this chump. Didn't think at all. All right, so there we go. That was Shatranj. Hopefully we'll stay with the program here. Okay, so next up we got Beetle. Once I get over myself and learn to enjoy playing actual chess games instead of just doing loads of puzzles, it's over for you all. But seriously, I'm working on trying to play more regularly. I'm still making good rating gains, but just through handfuls of blunder games, which feels good, but means I'm obviously nowhere near where I could be if I practiced more. Okay, here we go. Low chess knowledge, high chess enthusiasm. Well, look at that rating graph, dude. He's flying up there. That looks pretty good. All right. Needs to do the Polgar ratings test. He's talking about puzzles. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. All right. Clubs. European, UK. Looks all right. Activity. And this is how they did there. They got 2 hours of work doing a lot of tactics. Okay. Some endgame. Let's see if we got some games. All right. Beetle. Boom. 10-minute blunder game during a coffee break in the middle of work at a conference center. All right. Well, we'll take a quick look. And the times aren't given, but okay. This is a terrible move. You're going to get this a lot at this level. Knight e5 is a pretty good response here. You did fine. They're not developing. You say thank you. You say thank you. Ooh. And so you have queen h5. Good. Queen f6. Knight g4. Okay. Well, that ain't it. That ain't it, boss. Thank you very much. Welcome to the dojo. Check to the miserable king. Check. Mate. Well, there you go. That's all you need at this stage. That's all you need, buddy. So, right. Let's think about this player for a second, right? To get to where they are, that's the kind of game they need to win all the time. It's going to get a little harder, right? And I think Beetle recognizes that. It's going to get a little harder, but that, just to step up the analysis a little bit more, to do the puzzles, get that tactics rating, the progress is going to come. Okay. Next up, we got Fitzy. Oh, I'm gonna take a break. Actually, I just get a little water for the bowels. All right, here we go. I got myself a delicious little drink. I think in German we call this an Apfelschorle. Here we go with the Apfelschorle. I want to get a little higher. Sometimes I slink and slunk down into this beautiful chair I have, but I don't want to be doing all slinking and slunking. Okay. So, let's get back. And now we have Fitzy, recurring graduate. Let's read what Fitzy says. Been working on getting more games under my belt and absorbing as much knowledge as possible. I have been playing quite a few OTB with the White Knights. Nice. That's one of our clubs. Can I just give a shout out? If you are in a club and you got other people in there, it is to your benefit to get them to the dojo, because then you can do the sparring in real life. We will set you up with a scoreboard. We will give you a discount. This is because I'm so pumped, because I was once part of like a scholastic team. I played in teams in Europe, and I know that if this had been there, a structure where it's not just for the person to follow, but for the team to follow, oh man, let me go back in time and have it. Right? Anyways, White Knights, Wales, they're doing this. But also doing my best to do as many puzzles and dojo activities in my free time as possible. Because my elo is still quite low, I think any improvement is good improvement, and actively find myself using a lot of things I've learned from the dojo in games I've played and analyzed. Very neat being able to see active growth in a small amount of time, and look forward to see how I will progress in the following months to come. I think I mostly need to work on planning out an idea of how to win after the opening work on middle game strategies. Okay, let's take a look. Maybe we'll say something constructive. Right, you're no longer 300 elo, my friend. Look at you. I bet, look, White Knights. There we go, White Knights. And we want to go back. Tactics rating. Get that Polgar mate test done, son. Get that done. Get that number up. All right, I apologize for the sirens. I had to open the window. I'm part of the medical industrial complex here. It's hot today. All right, activity. Needs a coconut garnish. Yeah. So, Fitzy's flying up there. Did 19 hours of work to achieve this latest one. Good macro distribution. Okay. Tactics, what are they doing? Looking great. All right. Now we're going to go games. Oh, and this is a real game over here. So, boom. Let's see. We'll do this. Do we have clocks? It looks, now maybe this wasn't, who knows? Who knows what's going on here? But it looks, no, this was at worldchess.com. 2510. And what we can see, my dear friends, is that Black did not think at all. All right. So far, so good. E3. Knight F3 and D3 would be more consonant with opening principles, but I think I know where you're coming from this. Pop, pop. Okay. They should consider E4, but all right, you're doing fine. Okay. D5. Pop, pop. Good move. Okay. Frisky. It has taken a while, but I believe this is a solid idea in the English. Okay. Obviously, you're getting too obsessed with opening stuff, but what I like about F4 is that you are activating your rook on F1. Also, let's bear in mind that by getting the shakedown, what's important to see is this pawn is dominating the knight, right? EF4. Now, this is an interesting choice. All three recaptures seem pretty good for you, but I want to stress the most ambitious of those recaptures is definitely GF, so that you would have massive center control. Okay. Probably E8 makes more sense. Good move. Okay. Now, this is where we need more annotation. This is the key moment of the game, and I want to ask, can black take this pawn? That's what I want to ask. Okay. Good move. And so black didn't think, and now they're getting hosed. Ooh, that's not good. You need to be playing queen C1. Okay, so I want to stress, that was a complete blunder. You're moving too fast, so is your opponent. It has nothing to do with openings. Okay, that's why I promise you, it is not the openings. Doesn't make any sense. It's fine. Okay. Okay, and they're just not thinking. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. If they don't think, it's going to be over. All right. So, well done. I can feel that you kind of ran out of gas in terms of annotating the game. This is where it gets interesting, too, right here. And I think you even said something to the effect of not having a sense of what to do. That will come when you analyze positions like this. That's true, Pepper Chess. I need some sirens. Pepper Chess Boss, do you know this podcast called The Rest is History? It's an English podcast. I've been listening to it, dude. It's like just these two old fogies, probably around my age, but, I'm an old fogey, And so when I go, into the kitchen to do whatever, I'm listening to these two dudes talk about whatever. All right, here we go. Next up, we have Spelling Bee Champ. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Follow. This looks like a EKG, right? A little heart rate thing going on over here. And maybe they just hit it and then fell down. We want more over here. We want more. Clubs. North Texas. Okay. Activity. All right. So that looks good. Games. We got one. And we got this. We'll mark this as reviewed. Here's the time graph. It always gives me joy when we move slower than our opponents, right? Look at this. This person could be playing a 10-minute game. They shouldn't be playing some 30-minute game. I believe that's what we got, 30 minutes, yep. B4. Bizarre. Makes no sense. Good move. Bizarre. Makes no sense. Good move. Fine. Weird. Good move. Yeah. Simple chess. You just bring your people out. Weird. Good move. Good move. Okay. Now, I don't know if we should be worried about knight b5, but I do appreciate that you have an idea when you're playing it. And stopping our opponents from doing what they want to do can be a development in itself, because by denying the knight any usefulness, at least we have an idea. Okay. Now, we want to open the position. That's the major challenge for us right here. And I think what you did is a really good move, because now white has a choice. Do they want to open the e file for your rook? If they take, they'll lose this pawn. And if they take this way, maybe what they should do, you have a number of options, among them, say, knight e5. Okay. Good move. Poor move to take. Poor move to take. And now boss. Ah! Now you're hurting him. Check to the miserable king. He didn't think about that. Okay. Okay, well, let's just think for a second. Knight e4, not a huge fan of. It's okay. I just want you to focus, though, on getting your people developed. So rook e8, looking at that king is pretty good. Eventually c5, getting the people started. Rook b1, terrible. Pap, thank you very much. b5, okay, kind of interesting. Good move. Now look, e4, not thinking about these bros that need to do something. Not thinking about this pawn, which is just hanging. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're just going to take it nice and easy here. Ah, yeah, that's nice and smooth. Check to the rook. Check to the business. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Check. Check. There you go, buddy. Now, a little bit gives me a heart attack because maybe you didn't see, but you are close enough to get in there. Okay, my opponent did not follow the opening principles. In doing so, he allowed me to take control of the center, almost blundered his rook on 16. He also lost, he did blunder his rook, also lost a few exchanges. Right, all I needed was simply simplify and push my pass pawns. Oh, chess is an easy game. Also, just think a little bit. This guy's not thinking. All right, well done. And we'll keep going. Next up is Dark Squared Sith. Really enjoying the training. This dude, the Jedi Master, he's graduating all the time. Look at that. And we're up to 604. Well, he's ready really to graduate again. Sith, we need you to get the test done. Get the Polgar test done. Get this higher, buddy. All right, clubs, TGTE boards, okay. This dude's part of a lot of clubs. All right, activity, fantastic, fantastic. Games. Let's take a look at this one here. Hugo here is doing some comments. This is really great. Let's take a look here. And Dark Squared Sith is black, so we're going to switch it around here. A little weird, but okay. Fine, fine, good. Well, good move. Wait, why is that a bad move? Maybe you meant to say exclam. Because, now, I do yell at people when they don't develop their pieces, when they move piece twice. But this one, you're at least giving him some grief. And that isn't it. So white can stop this. And there's two ways. Either go here or go check and then here. So you said thank you very much. E6. I don't think that's going to do it. That looks like a good move. Oh, play knight takes c2. So, now you're doing fine. You're doing fine. There's a lot of different moves you can do here. Go. Look at that, buddy. Stick that thing. Wait. Oh, don't talk like that. Cry. That's obscene. I'm just saying it looks nice to have the queen there. Oh, look at that pawn. Oh, look at that castle position. Oh, it's just so simple. Now, did we blunder here, though? Good. Good note here. A little too soon, right? So we got to say h3 was a poor move because now they're pinned. They needed to move the bishop first. All right, a3. Now the easiest way would just be to play bishop b4, right? They stop it now. Good move. Good move. Wait a sec. So rook dc1 was a great move. I didn't even see it at first. It means actually that in this position we have to pronto play bishop b4. Because here already they can get out of this pin that they've created themselves with this move. And, you know, they're lost because of the pawns, but before we were winning a clear piece. Uh-oh, now we're in trouble all of a sudden. Now, I want to stress, you still have a way out of dodge here. So the way you do it, you allow this piece to come down. Notice your opponent isn't really thinking at all. Let's just imagine this for a second, right? You're in a little bit of a jam, okay? They're threatening c7. We really need to think deeply here about how not to let the rook land on c7, right? So there's two ways to do it, but you got to think long enough to find it. Either rook d1, snip, and then bishop d6, or c5. Either way, we're not letting those rooks do their dance all over our face, because what happens is he's going to come around, and it's like that Usyk guy smacking Tyson Fury. Now, rook takes g7. That would be a good move. All right, rook d2. Good move. g5. It's going to get interesting. Going to get interesting. g4. fg4, I like it better, yeah. He's just going to shuffle. Now, what should white be thinking of? Well, b4 would be the question. Is b4 followed by rook b3? Is that going to be a strong thing for white? We could take en passant. Now, at this point, when your king is shut out, it's time to march the dog. It's time to march the dog. b2. Rook h2. You have rook g2, right? Rook f3, buddy. There you go. That's what they get for moving too fast. All right. Well done. Next up, we got 3 more 7 stitches next. Primary focus on this graduation was blunder games and tactics. I didn't want to graduate until I had completed them. Especially the blunder games where I'm trying to drill into myself to keep things simple. Get my pieces out as early as possible and reduce giving needles tempos to the opponent by fixing on certain threats calculations. Still making some mistakes and big blunders, but not as many as during the last graduation. Also been doing the 3rd Polgar and the 3rd Everyone's First Chess Workbook Tactics every day for the last month. Great. All right, 7th stitch. Let's take a look, bud. Beautiful progress. Been doing the ratings. It looks pretty good. So he's up to 723, which shows, you know, tactically he's ready. So I'm going to guess 7 stitch is going to be up to the next cohort pretty quick. Pretty quick. Okay. So, clubs, Irish, activity. Oh, looks great. Really good. We'll go back one. Oh, they haven't been logging it? Wait. No. Boom. There we go. 31 hours. So as you see, he took 7-stitch 31 hours to do this. Focused on, it looks like the blunder games, which is fine. Dazim. Boom. All right. We'll mark this reviewed. These people aren't thinking about us. Friends of the dojo, do you guys see a pattern here? Do you see the pattern that I'm seeing? Okay. A little weird. Good. No threat. Okay. I love that you're just developing. Poor move. Blunder. Thank you very much. Not doing too much. Boom. Okay, this is a mistake, though, because you are allowing knight takes e4. Right? So, default move should just be castle. We're not afraid of them trading. Weird. Thank you. Fine. I would say, in general, when you're up, I'll trade it off. You know, just a great strategy for making it to 1,000 is take their coconuts, trade them down, and then mate them. Every game. They will give you it. They will give you their stuff. Trade it down, then mate them. Bizarre. Thank you. Okay. A little weird. Yeah. It just continues to hand you stuff. Check to the miserable king. Ooh. Check to the miserable king. At this point, it's hard to give him any advice. Boom. Bishop d2. Bam! Nice move. That's them dojo tactics paying off. Paying off and playing off. Look at that. It's looking like mate. It's looking like mate, buddy. There it is. Bogar mates in action. Finishing him off. Yep. Okay. So, you can see that we're going to see 7-stitch again pretty quickly. He's going to be graduating to the next level. I'm going to say in 1 or 2 weeks. Next up, we got suspended. Adult improver from Norway who is into OTB. Great. Got a tactics rating of 702. Well, this person's clearly on the path upward and definitely going up. Definitely going up. Okay. So, clubs. European. Join that Irish club. Activity. Looking great, man. Looking great. Actually, let me check some. So, right, okay. So they did a lot of work to get where they got here. Yeah, and well, as I said, I think we're gonna see him again soon on this show. Our games, and this looks like a OTB game right here. Sometimes it's a little bit of a hassle when you do an OTB, but it is very possible to write down the times. GM level so far, poor. As we see it, we see this F6 all the time. Okay? Fine. Good. Little unnecessary. This is where the thinking started. I spent a good 20 to 30 minutes here to figure out a long-term plan. Given that black was slightly more developed, but perhaps a bit overstretched, I wanted to seize the initiative and not let go. That meant that I had to decide which side to launch the attack. Okay. My little 2 cents. You should think about developing moves, and bishop e3 I think is a good default move. Might just be like, Kraai says develop, I'm going to develop. We have no idea what black's gonna do next, but let's develop. Good. And now when he castles this way, it very much makes your a3 look good because now you can be used to mess with him. Good. And now we need to pop him open. Boom. And now you played knight a4. Okay. I would want very much here to see if I could get b5 to work. I don't know if it works yet. I'm just telling you I would like to do it just because I want to open this guy up. And I'm going to go ahead and say I think I can. It's a little tactical, but it might go like this. Pop, 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 pop. And we would tell ourselves that we like the position a lot because the king is so bare. Okay, knight a4. Poor. Thank you. Good move. Good move. Please recapture. Please recapture. Okay. Pop. 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 Uh-oh. And you found knight c5. Now let's just say the obvious here. In this position, really your default move should just be to take the rook. Okay, you don't need to be so fancy. If the rook wasn't there, we could just take the bishop. So here you're making things much harder for yourself by taking. And it'd be great to know how much time you used here. Okay, so we're about to blunder a piece. And maybe, as we've seen before, when we play these people who don't develop, we will oftentimes get chances just because they, in this case, their king is all messed up. Now, I want to say the bummer of your position is not just that you lost a piece, but that this knight is then poor. So I have some sympathy with this move just to try to get the knight active. I want you to play takes and put your knight on c4. Now you're losing your mind. f4, f3, bishop e3. Now you're, by the way, your opponent, he's rated 1495. He played some good moves. After playing terribly, played some really good moves here. And now we're just completely toast. I think we're playing for stalemate or something here. My daughter doesn't really play chess, but I showed her that you can, when you're playing against one of these kids that are really good, you could let them take, if you're losing, just let them take all your pieces and see if they stalemate you, Here, like one, it might go down like this. Rook takes, rook takes, king takes would be a nice trick. Stalemate. Oh, bummer. All right, HG. Okay. So, yeah. One of the things I really want to stress that I like about the way this happened is you outplayed your opponent in the opening because you knew how to develop. And something I would tell your opponent is they don't have to read an opening book to know how to get their pieces out, right? And so you had an incredible practical advantage going into the game, right? Into the opening. So that was very encouraging. And the blunder is what ultimately killed you. But I'm going to go ahead and say, I feel pretty confident that you are going to make it to the next level quickly, because that was some good chess that you put on the board for the first 15 moves, even more than that. Next up, we have Jeff. After a couple of months of only doing chess puzzles tactics, I decided to come back and start playing again. I noticed the puzzles help a lot. I still need to be more patient with my game since I've noticed most of my mistakes. It's because I'm being reactive and not analyzing the position. Feels good. Well, welcome back to the dojo. Welcome back. This is Jeff. The more he studies, the worse he plays. However, look at that. He's doing all right. It looks like. It looks to me like he's doing all right. This is he had a bad run. Pepper Chess, you think you have it rough? Look at this dude. He had a bad run. Look at this guy. Bang! Trust the program. Had a great result on the Polgar mate test. Doing well over here too. So as he was talking about the puzzles, you can see that, he should be getting a high rating pretty fast here. All right, clubs. All right, looks good. Activity. Done some work, for sure. Games. This is our last game of the day. Pop. And we'll say mark reviewed. Oh, people took their time. What are we dealing with here? We're looking at a 30 plus 15. People took their time. Looking good. All right. Good. So again, it would help if you didn't know the names of these variations. Okay. Good. Little weird. Why is it weird? Because we want you to move your other pieces out. So what would be the default move? That one. Okay. All right, we're going to take that thing. Castles. Great. You're doing great. Good move. Good move. Good move. And this one, maybe, I guess I would prefer something like Queen B6. A little weird. What do I want you to do? I need you to find a way to get your pieces active on the queen side, right? And after C4, it's honestly a little hard for you now to do that, which is why I like Queen B6 earlier. But we still need to find a way. And one option might be Queen A5, Knight B6, Knight A4. One might be B5, B4. But this is a little frisky. Poor move. No one knows what they're doing. F6. Maybe F6. Knight F4. All you have to do is just guard against it. So like Rook C6, for example. Now we're in trouble. Okay, we do have a threat. Good move when you're your opponent. ED4. Right, and this really helps the bishop. Oh no, now it's a very strong bishop. And then my gut is that G3 wins your bishop. So you still have a chance because they're doing weird things like A4. Moves like G3 would be very hard to meet. Check to the miserable king. Okay. Queen E3. We're not giving up yet. No, sir. Now your opponent's just fumbling around, so maybe we do have a chance here. Okay. So, we're lost on principle because we just don't have any force, but we don't have enough pieces. Maybe Knight F4 we could try here. Check. Oh, man, he got us. Your opponent, I felt, played pretty well, honestly. At least some of the tactical phases of the game. So I just want to say, good annotations. And you had a great opening, right? Your opponent didn't do anything to you. And one thing I want to say is there's a lot about this game which suggests it's at a much higher level. First, look at the times. Great from both players. They're thinking. Next, there wasn't really that many blunders. And the mistakes, honestly, like, let's say the C4 mistake. It's a strategic mistake. But it's really a mistake I would put at maybe somebody who's at the 16 to 1800 level might make this kind of mistake. I.e., it's not the kind of thing you need to worry about. It's the hanging the pawn on E6 that you need to worry about. But still, I want to say, even then, I see far less mistakes in this game than generally what we're talking about when we're doing this lower cohort. So Jeff, dude, you're gonna get there, man. You're gonna get there. That was a well played game from your opponent. Very well. Got a question. Hello, Jesse. Just thought I'd say I'm a big fan of the Dojo channel, and especially the Dojo Talks podcast. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would say we're working hard, but we're really just enjoying it, right? Okay, I want to check one quick thing. Sometimes there's a sense. Oh, let's just refresh over here. If you are wanting to get a game reviewed, you can do this Sensei game review. I reviewed one yesterday. Just thought I'd check in to see if that's available. I will be back tomorrow. And let's check who's on the docket for tomorrow. This will be the 1,000 plus group. And Amaracom, this guy's been going for it big time in the dojo. Kurosa Scarab, also been doing a bunch. Banki John, also a lot. And there's a lot of people going over here. So, going to be a fun day tomorrow. We'll be starting at the same time. Might last a little bit longer than today because I think it's 14 or so people tomorrow. Okay, my friends. Thank you, Pepper Chess. I'm going to get out of here. Who are we going to rate, Pepper?